Hey guys, welcome back to another video. True to my word, I am working on getting more videos up a little more frequently. This channel in the past has been a little bit slow for me to to get videos up, but like I was saying, I got a new phone and a ring light and everything, so it's just a lot easier to do this kind of thing on the fly. So this week I got a couple videos up, and here's just another quick one I got up this weekend. I took a minute to experiment with this ink wash. I hadn't really worked on ink on a stretched canvas before, but I've seen people do it, and I thought, well, maybe this would be a cool way to do more of like a more minimalist black and white look once in a while and get something up. So this was a reference photo that I thought looked really good, and a good opportunity to try a black and white portrait on cotton canvas. And I picked up this, I hadn't seen it before, but it's acrylic ink. And I thought, well, how would that work? Is it acrylic? Is it ink? I guess it's the love child of ink and acrylic. And so I grabbed some water, and I also grabbed my speedball ink and just tried to mix the consistencies to see how I can play with it and how I can do sort of more watered down shades with it. This did tend to run a little bit, so if I got too heavy with the water, so what I would do is put down some like more opaque, I guess, areas, and then try to mush them out if I needed more shadows, or try to take the edge off a bit. So using my little watercolor tray and my watercolor brushes is what I used to just sort of tackle this. I did also have a bamboo brush out just for some of the hair strokes, because I like the way the bamboo brush will just sort of go to a fine tip and then flatten out, and it really simulates kind of the curvatures of the hair a little bit better, from kind of like sweeping thick into thin. So I really like that about it. But yeah, this is just something I was able to whip out in about, I think it was probably just a little more than an hour, between just setting up my phone camera and videoing, and just working by the window. So the light might change a little bit here, but gives you an idea of the process. So this is let me see, I think it was 16 by 20 on gallery wrap canvas, and I'm using my little easel. And it's not like the most powerful piece or anything like that, but I do like the way it turned out in the end, and a good way, just to get something up that would appeal to some people wanting something a little bit more modest, an easier way to get content up and prints and everything like that. So because I've always done sort of larger works like 30 by 40s and 24 by 36s, and I like that, but I realized I wasn't doing enough small pieces. And when I was younger, I used to really just like sitting and drawing and doing ink work and all that kind of stuff, and my background was really in making comic books. So I loved that kind of ink process. And when I was in grade 12, I put together a comic book for school. I wrote the story, did the drawings, did the inking. So it was a black and white comic. And for me to do this kind of work is sort of like getting back to that, just getting back to the true love of drawing and that kind of thing. I love painting, but painting can be so involved, like when you're doing like these big 30 by 40 elaborate paintings and whatnot, and they're not always the most practical to have around. So one of the reasons why with some of that, I'm gonna just be going to the unstretched canvas where you can just pin it to the wall. I have a great easel and that kind of thing, but they are a little bit more involved to store them. So this is just kind of nice to slot in there. And that's the thing, like with the watercolors that I started doing as well. It's just to be able to offer people something of smaller scale, and then also, you know, I can do them a little faster, and they're kind of joyful to do. They're kind of enjoyment, and they're travel friendly. So I really like traveling. And this is something, you know, with ink and just some rolled up canvas or smaller things like that, you can take that along with you and get your art fix on. So I'm really glad that that's come back around for me. And, you know, it makes art fun again, where, not to say that doing big paintings are fun, but I've been doing them for about 4 or 5 years without doing more drawings and sketchbook drawings and ink works like this. And I decided to commit to a year of doing this kind of work as well, just to slot in, and it helps to get more video up, you know, for you guys and stuff like that. So this year I want to really kind of put a lot more content on the channel, a lot more art, instructional videos. Here I was just experimenting by putting my phone up in the long way, but most of my videos will be, you know, the full panoramic look. So as I started getting a little deeper into the painting here, one of the things I like doing was trying to not overwork the painting. And that's something that I've been so guilty of in the past, is, you know, like if it's the hair, you're trying to do too many strands. With this one, it did need a little bit more than I thought initially to sort of have like a fully rendered looking hair and portrait and everything. But I will say, like with watercolor and the way I've been transitioning to oil painting, it's funny, it's what you leave out. And I'll even sort of come back into something after and just sort of maybe, you know, with hair, like take out some of the detail and that kind of thing. Because the eye will actually, you know, finish the image for you. A lot of painters will do this. They'll kind of, what's in the foreground will be a lot more defined and everything else is just hinted at, and your mind will figure out, you know, if it's just a roughed in car barely, it just knows. So you don't have to do all the detail. And I'm finding more and more that I'm appreciating that kind of aspect of painting and trying to loosen up my style. It's always been a goal of mine, because with drawing and learning from graphite and everything is always very tight. And then when I transferred over to painting, it stayed that way too. And then so with painting or doing this kind of thing, you know, sometimes it's what you leave out. So this was a good practice in doing something prompt. Now, I did find there wasn't enough detail, like just around the eye a little bit and around the lips. And there was a couple mistakes I made that I had to kind of clean up. So definitely, if you're trying like an ink wash, keep some paper towel around, of course, and some clean water, because you got to be quick to kind of grab that area and swipe away what was there, and then, you know, come back at it. So that's what I did around the nose. Noses can be tricky too. The more, you know, if you try to over detail them, it can look bad, and I find it has to be the right happy medium of just enough detail. With the eyes, I like the eyes to pop, so I'm always, especially with the female eye, I'm always going in there and almost kind of putting in like an eyeliner kind of look, and then going around the pupil and the iris and everything. And once you kind of hint in some lashes, as long as you don't overdo it, then you know, you want the focal point to be on the eyes, and then everything else just kind of blurs out from there. So that's what I'm doing here, is I'm taking a very fine liner brush. I like having these around just because, you know, if you do want to get into some finer details of like the eyebrows and some loose hairs and eyelashes and stuff like that. So it's kind of the fun part of the painting where you're getting to the point where you're just starting to just sort of tweak and just, you know, throw in these little dynamic things here and there. And here what I'm doing is just starting to do that, just tightening up the lip line, going in, you know, just adding in some more shadows, that kind of thing. So about this point, I'm feeling pretty good with the painting, and I don't want to overdo the details. So here I'm just putting in the final touch, just sort of that one tier going down, and I used acrylic paint. I just pre-wet the path that the acrylic paint would leak down, and just continually get enough color on there till it, you know, looks like it was standing out and vibrant enough. And yeah, and then that's about it. So if you guys like this video, please come back for more, subscribe. I'm going to be posting a lot more frequently like I've been doing, and I've been having a really good time doing this and hearing you guys' comments. So check back later, and thanks a lot, guys.